Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to learn how to work with files in Java. We will see how to read data from a file and how to write text or data to a file in Java. For that we have classes such as BufferedReader that comes from java.io and BufferedWriter that comes from java.io. But in this video I'll be using a utility class called files that makes working with file a lot easier. So this files class comes from java.nio.file package. Let's take a look at this files class. This is a class consists of static methods that operates on files, directories, and other types of files. So let's give a path to our file. Well, I'm gonna use a relative path, a file name. Let's define a file name, string file name, and let's assign it like test.txt. This is a relative path and the file will be created within our project directory. So to create a BufferedWriter object to write to this file, what we are going to do, we will use the files utility class. This has some static methods. For example, we have new BufferedReader and new BufferedWriter, which takes a file path and is going to give us a BufferedReader and BufferedWriter object. So first we are going to create a new BufferedWriter. Let's give this file name. It's not going to accept this accepts a path. For that we have a path of method path.off or paths.get, whichever method you want to use. I'm gonna use path.off and going to pass my file name. This file creation is going to throw an exception. What I'm going to do, I can either throw an exception in my method signature, or I can surround this within a try catch block. What I'm going to do is I will surround it within a try catch block. Surround with the try catch block is going to throw an IO exception. I'm going to catch it here. So what I'm going to do is I will whatever it's going to return, I will store it in a BufferedWriter object, introduced to a local variable BufferedWriter object. We got the object. We can write to this file using this object. So let's do BufferedWriter the write. We have a lot of overload of this write method. We can pass a string, array of characters, or a string. So let's use this one, pass it a string. This is a line. Let me run my project. So it's going to create the file in my directory test.txt, but nothing is written because we have not closed our file. After we wrote, we can close our file using this object BufferedWriter.close. Let's rerun the project. Let's check our file. Yeah, this is a line is printed in our file. Let's try to print something else also. Go to main method. Let me close this file. Close this one too. So let's write another line. Java is cool. Run it. Yeah, Java is cool. In order to print it in a new line, what we can do is we can before this line we can put a \n, or if we have a list of strings, let's say we have list string, let's call it strings or whatever names, new or list dot of, let's give it Java C#, Python, etc. Cannot type. So what I'm gonna do is I will iterate over this list and print each element of this list or strings inside the test.txt file. So what I can do before I close the file, I'll say for var item in str or strings. So we have to call the write method, buffer writer, the write. Let's put a back /n plus item. Run the project. Let's see, we have, this is a line, Java is cool, Java and C#. So now let's see how we can read from the file. For that, we're again going to use the files method, the files class. Where was it? Here. It has also buffered reader, So to read from a file, we can use the new buffered reader method, which returns a buffered reader object. It first opens a file for reading, returning a buffered reader object. So let's use this static method from the files class to read from test.txt, reading from file. What we are going to do, we'll use files dot new buffered reader, and we will pass our file path, paths dot get of our file path. It's going to open this file and return a buffered reader object. Let's surround it within a try catch block. This will return an object. I'm gonna store it in a buffered reader object, buffer reader. So using this buffer reader, we can read each line. Let's define a string line equal to an empty string. Buffered reader dot read line is going to read one line, and I'm gonna assign it to my line variable, line equal to buffer reader dot read line. Let's print that, print the line here. But before that, it's always a good practice to close the resources. What I'm gonna do is I will say buffer reader dot close. Let's run the project. Yeah, it reads the first line. To read all the lines from this file, what we are going to do, we are going to use a while loop. Say, let's use it here. While buffered reader dot read line not equal to null. While there is a line, we are going to read it and assign each read or each buffer dot read line to this line variable. What we are going to do, let's say line equal to buffered reader. Let's put it inside this. Okay, we are reading each line and assign it to this line variable, and we check if it is not null, then we will go within this while loop, and what we are going to do, we are going to just print the line. So I'm gonna cut this one and put it here. So this should read all the lines from the file and print it. Let's run the project. Yeah, we are able to read everything from the line, everything from the file, all the lines. We have, this is a line, Java is cool, Java, C# and Python. By default, this buffer writer object, it will overwrite everything from this file and rewrite the content. So let's test that. If I go to main and if I add something here, this is a line, let's set 2 here, it's going to override, this is a line, and it will, instead of this, it will print this is line and 2. So by default, it overwrites the content of the file. To append, to maintain this within the file and append new contents, we have to pass here standard operations dot append. Is it append? Yeah, standard operations dot append, and also before that we should also pass a standard operation dot create. If the file is not already created, create the file and append, otherwise just append whatever we write. So now if we run our project, it should append to our file each time. Yeah, this was first, this was second time we run our project. Let's run it for the third time. What I'm gonna do, I'm just change this to 3. So each time we run, it's not going to overwrite the content, the previous contents. What it's going to do, it will append at the end of the file or at the end of the lines, and we are able to read everything from the file back. So thank you guys for watching. This was how we can easily read and write content from a file in Java.